Just a few months ago, most of us had probably never even heard the word coronavirus. Now the words coronavirus and COVID-19 have become an all too familiar part of our vocabulary. With the world facing this pandemic, everyday life for many of us has been disrupted in ways we might never have imagined. And sad to say, in just a short time, this disease has taken the lives of thousands. We know you are concerned about the well-being of our brothers and sisters, especially those living in lands most directly affected by COVID-19. Well, in this report, we'll hear from responsible brothers in Korea, Italy, and the United States to find out how our brothers and sisters are doing and what steps are being taken to assist those facing this serious health crisis. But before we hear from those brothers, please let me share some thoughts with you. The spread of this disease is distressing, to be sure. But we're really not surprised to see the world in the grip of such pestilence, are we? Jesus made it clear at Luke 21:11 that pestilence would be part of the sign of the last days. And in Revelation chapter 6, the ride of the fourth horseman includes mention of deadly plague. So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days. But while the situation is serious, as Jehovah's people, we do not need to panic. And Isaiah chapter 30, verse 15, tells us why. Let's read that together. Isaiah 30, verse 15, "For this is what the sovereign Lord Jehovah, the Holy One of Israel, says, By returning to me and resting, you will be saved. Your strength will be in keeping calm and showing trust." Jehovah has always guided and supported his people in times of distress. So we have good reason to do just as this verse tells us. Keep calm and show trust in Jehovah. And in turn, Jehovah will give us strength. As we'll see in these reports from around the world, Jehovah has given us Bible principles to help his people make wise decisions, even in very difficult circumstances. Let's begin by speaking with Brother Reno Kesk, who serves in Korea. Thank you, Reno, for joining us.
You're welcome. It's a privilege.
But we asked Brother Kesk, how are the brothers in Korea doing right now?
Although there is fear throughout the country, our brothers are in good spirits, and they really are endeavoring to apply the good counsel at Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 3 by fully leaning on Jehovah and by trusting in him.
That's very good to hear. How has the coronavirus pandemic affected the congregation meetings and field ministry in your branch territory?
Well, we've had to stop holding meetings at the Kingdom Halls and also stop public witnessing. At first, the brothers were a little bit confused when this happened because of the suddenness of everything. But once they were informed about the reasons for the steps that had to be taken, and also when they understood the need to apply Romans 13:1 to cooperate with the superior authorities or the government officials, they understood immediately and started to put into practice the recommendations and the suggestions that were given. And they were so thankful for these good suggestions, recommendations from the organization.
Well, those are big changes, but no doubt the obedience and cooperation of the brothers has reflected favorably on Jehovah's name. But what has helped the brothers maintain their peace of mind during this time?
Well, the friends are still keeping a very good spiritual routine, which is helping them and all of us to stay calm and to keep a proper perspective of matters. As far as meetings are concerned, the brothers are either meeting together in small groups or they're using video conferencing programs so they can keep in touch and enjoy the meetings that way, and also JW Stream. They're also more flexible in their ministry. They're writing letters, they're texting their return visits, they're conducting Bible studies over the telephone, they're calling their family and friends to see how they are, to talk to them. They're also calling former Bible students to see how they are and able to witness this way. But one other thing, too, I might mention that, and that is that the brothers are really trying hard to be balanced in how much time they're spending watching news reports and reading about them. In fact, it's important, of course, to stay up to date with things that are going on. But our brothers have found that constantly watching news reports and updates can also increase undue or unnecessary anxiety.
For a certainty, we can imitate the faith of our brothers in Korea and their determination to maintain good spiritual routines during this time. Thank you very much for joining us for this report.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Now we'll go to Italy with Brother Greg Chichu. Thank you for being here, Greg.
I'm glad to be here, Brother Lett. Thank you.
We know our brothers in Italy are facing many of the same challenges as our brothers in Korea, and in recent weeks have had to face some especially difficult conditions, including a nationwide lockdown. Can you please tell us how our brothers are doing in Italy?
Well, some of our brothers have contracted COVID-19, and tragically, as of March 16th, 6 of them have died. The vast majority of our brothers are fine. We're praying for all of them, and especially those who lost dear loved ones in death.
We're very glad to hear that most of the brothers are doing well, but our hearts go out to those who have lost their loved ones. The news media has reported on the many restrictions in Italy right now. How have our brothers been looking after each other despite these restrictions?
Well, the brothers really miss associating together in person, but thanks to Jehovah's blessing, they're doing well spiritually. As Jesus said in John 13:34 and 35, that love for one another would identify his true disciples. Well, we're seeing this love in action here. True, government restrictions prevent us from leaving home freely, but the brothers regularly keep in touch by phone or other electronic means. The result is that many are reporting that through this situation, it's actually drawing our brothers closer together.
That's very encouraging news. Please tell us what the elders are doing to shepherd the brothers.
In addition to providing for physical needs where possible, the elders are video conferencing with individuals and entire field service groups to share scriptural encouragement. So no one feels isolated. Each one receives emotional and spiritual support. Many are expressing a renewed appreciation for their dear shepherds. For example, one sister wrote, "I feel protected, like when a hen gathers her chicks to protect them from a predator." Another brother said, "I feel Jehovah's love through my elders. Just as Isaiah 32 verse 2 says, our elders are really proving to be a hiding place from the wind and a place of concealment from the rainstorm.
How very encouraging. We're excited to hear how Jehovah is getting you brothers through this difficult time. Our prayers will continue to be with you.
Thank you very much, Brother Let.
Now we'll go to the United States and speak with Brother Harold Corcoran, who serves in Walk Hill, New York. Brother Corcoran serves as a helper to the publishing committee of the governing body, but is also a member of the United States Branch Committee. Thank you for being with us, Harold, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Brother Let.
Why don't you tell us how the brothers at World Headquarters and other United States Bethel facilities are doing?
Well, there's no question that we're going through some challenging times because we've never experienced a health situation with the scope of this one. But on behalf of the Branch Committee, we're very happy to report that the Bethel family is coping well, and commendably, they have displayed the wisdom from above, being ready to obey, as described in the book of James, chapter 3, verse 17. And likewise, our brothers in the field, they are quick to respond to direction from the branch office.
That's very good to hear. Can you explain what practical steps the brothers are taking to avoid spreading the coronavirus?
We're taking very seriously the guidelines that we have received from medical and government authorities regarding steps that can be taken to prevent the spread of the virus. There are some basic reminders, such as regular hand washing, not touching the face, avoiding hugs and handshakes, and making sure to disinfect regularly surfaces that are often touched. And if someone is sick, they should stay home. So we've emphasized these basic reminders, not only to our fellow workers here at Bethel, but also to those in the field.
Those are very practical reminders. Even I've been greeting my brothers with an elbow bump instead of a handshake. Can you tell us what other measures have been taken to keep everyone as safe as possible?
Well, as a precaution for the Bethel family, for our brothers in the field, and for our neighbors, no tours or guests are permitted at our Bethel complexes at this time. At the direction of the governing body, no guests attended in person at the recent Gilead graduation, and the Bethel family was directed to watch the program from their personal rooms. Now, with the growing concern, the most recent precaution that's being taken is that the Bethel family has been directed to not leave their respective complexes for any activity. And that would include shopping, social gatherings, and meetings. And we'd like to emphasize that this is a precaution to protect the Bethel family because we do not have an outbreak at this time, but we're being extra careful to protect them. And we will monitor this latest restriction on a week-by-week basis to determine how much longer it should continue. Now, as far as the field is concerned, we have directed that all large theocratic events throughout the U.S. branch territory should be canceled until May 17th.
Many of the adjustments you've described have no doubt been challenging. How have the brothers responded?
We're happy to report that they have responded very well to the precautions that have been provided. And we'd also like to say, Brother Lett, on behalf of the branch committee to you, dear brothers on the governing body, thank you very much for your loving direction. We can certainly sense your loving concern and your tender affection. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Harold. I'll be sure to pass that appreciation on to the other brothers. We've looked to Jehovah for help in making these decisions. It's encouraging to see how willing and cooperative our brothers and sisters have been. Thank you very much, Brother Corcoran, for sharing this update.
You're very welcome.
As you've seen from these reports, with the situation changing day by day, sometimes hour by hour, many adjustments have had to be made. Now, in some cases, the governing body has provided specific direction on how these adjustments should be put into effect. But many decisions have been left to those who are most familiar with local circumstances: branch committee members, circuit overseers, and congregation elders. To you, faithful, Spirit-appointed men serving in these capacities, we'd like to say this: we trust you, and we are confident that you'll prayerfully evaluate the facts and local circumstances and follow the direction of the superior authorities. And we know that you'll do all within your power to stay in touch with the congregations. You will do so on a regular basis by phone or video conference as necessary. We're also confident that Jehovah's Spirit will guide you and give you the mature judgment needed at this time to apply Bible principles properly and to provide clear direction. As for the rest of us, whether the direction we receive comes from the governing body, the branch, our circuit overseer, or the elders, we want to follow that direction closely. It can serve as a protection now. And really, if we think about it, it's good practice as we head into even more turbulent times ahead. Before we conclude, we'd like to share a few thoughts about the upcoming memorial of the death of Jesus Christ on April 7th. There's no virus, no pandemic in the world that can dampen our appreciation for what Jehovah and Jesus have done for us, or weaken our determination to observe the Lord's evening meal. Our gathering to commemorate that important event is more than a tradition. It's a command, recorded at Luke 22, verse 19. Let's read that together. Luke 22, verse 19. Also he, Jesus, took a loaf, gave thanks, broke it, and gave it to them, saying, "This means my body, which is to be given in your behalf. Keep doing this in remembrance of me." So will we keep doing this in remembrance of Jesus as he commanded? Absolutely. But how we do so may vary depending on our local circumstances. If it's possible in your area, we encourage you to meet with your congregation. You can be sure that the elders will take practical measures for the benefit of all those attending. Of course, in some areas, local circumstances created by COVID-19 may prevent you from meeting as a congregation. In that case, you may receive direction from your elders to meet in smaller groups, to use video conferencing like Skype or Zoom, or if none of those options are possible, to watch the program on jw.org. How thankful we are to Jehovah that he's equipped us to be able to drink the milk of nations as mentioned in Isaiah 60, verse 16, which includes the wise use of technology. Regardless of the specific arrangements involved, we all want to prepare our hearts and do whatever is necessary to obey Jesus' command to celebrate the Lord's evening meal. Just think for a moment about Jesus' sacrifice and what it means, especially in the light of this global health crisis. By means of the ransom, Jehovah has made provision to completely eliminate problems such as pestilence from the earth. Not just this one viral pandemic, but all sickness and death. Admittedly, the events we see around us are now creating times hard to deal with, just as the Bible foretold. But these events also remind us of how close we are to seeing a complete solution to all these problems forever. We want you to know that the governing body loves you deeply and will keep you in our prayers. Our brothers in the United States, Italy, and Korea send their warm love and greetings. This is JW Broadcasting from the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses.